Hello, welcome to Thomas Inda from CID. So welcome to our studio. So a couple of questions for you, Thomas. So the first one, how has fraud targeting treasury team changed in recent years? And what role is AI playing in making attacks harder to detect?
Yeah, thank you, François. So what we see is that fraud passed from being very manual and not very prepared. We saw back in the days that fraud was quite easy to detect. It was an email or someone planning a fraud, but nowadays, thanks to AI, it's way more sophisticated, and attackers will plan for months an attack they could perform on an organization. Nowadays, we see that they will use the latest AI tools, such as deepfake, voice scamming, to try to forge you. It's also becoming increasingly easy to forge a bank certificate, for example, to send it to you. So nowadays, manual bank account validation is not enough. Companies have to rely on solutions to do so, and this is what we propose at CID.
So we can say, yeah, technology is evolving, but the technology used by fraudsters is also evolving, and that makes the detection harder and harder. So maybe a second question. So verification of pay is no EU requirement, since we have, let's say, imposed instant payment, but not only for instant, but for all type of payment in Europe and in Europe, or in the SEPA zone. What problem does it solve, and where does it fall short?
Yeah, so first I would like to say that it's a very good initiative taken by VOP, but it falls short when it comes to the moment this verification is made. VOP operates a control just before payments, and it's too late, because if at payment stage VOP tells you impossible match, close match, no match, you have to go back to your AP team or shared services center, so they perform again the control, and you try again to perform the payments. So it creates operational inefficiency inside the company. And also it relies on company names. And usually you don't have the correct company name for your vendor.
Never.
And the last thing also that we can consider is that it only applies to SEPA payments. So if you have a vendor in the US, in Asia, it won't be covered by VOP.
So it's an improvement, but not that it's not enough to detect every type of frauds, and as you say, it's maybe a bit too late in the chain to be really productive. So you advise to take the problem at inception and earlier to prevent the fraud afterwards. So maybe a last question, concretely, how does CID complement existing controls or internal controls, and what does working with a new client typically look like?
Sure. What we do at CID is operating a check at different steps of the payment chain. Usually we're going to perform a first check during the onboarding of vendors to try to eliminate those bank certificate callbacks that companies typically have, to automate those processes at this step. Then we have checks performed directly on the vendor master data, for example, once a week, once a month, to make sure your vendor master data is clean. And we also have checks we perform at the payment phase, treasury level, just before sending the payments, thanks to connector we have with the biggest TMS on the market.
So you control along the chain of the processes. So thanks a lot for this insightful information.
Thank you, François.